In a small Igbo village called Umueze, people lived simple lives. The men were farmers, the women sold goods in the market, and children played under the mango trees. Life was peaceful, but the villagers always warned their daughters never to walk near the big river at night. They said the river hid secrets that no one must see. Among the villagers was a beautiful young woman named Neka. She was tall, graceful, and her skin shone like polished bronze. Every man in Umueze wanted her hand in marriage, but her father, Obioma, was very protective. He always told her, "My daughter, beauty can bring danger. Be careful who you trust." Neka listened, but she was restless. She wanted more than farming life and simple village talks. At night, she sometimes sat alone by the river, staring at her reflection. She felt the water calling to her, whispering words she could not understand. She never told anyone about it, not even her mother. One evening, while others prepared for the village festival, Neka went to fetch water. The sun was setting, and the river looked red like fire. Suddenly, the water began to move. A huge serpent with shiny golden scales rose from the river. Neka wanted to run, but her legs could not move. The serpent spoke in a deep voice, "Do not fear, beautiful one. I have watched you for many years. You are chosen to be my bride." Neka trembled. She tried to shout, but no sound came from her mouth. The serpent's eyes glowed like burning charcoal, and before she could blink, the water swallowed her. When Neka opened her eyes, she was no longer in the village. She was inside a grand palace under the river. Walls of glass and gold surrounded her, and fishes swam like servants. The serpent had turned into a tall, handsome man, dressed like a prince. "I am Obadiah, the river lord," he said. "From today, you are my wife." Neka cried and begged him to send her home, but Obadiah only smiled. "If you live with me, you will never know hunger. You will wear gold and diamonds. You will live forever." Neka shook her head, but Obadiah raised his hand, and her tears turned into pearls that rolled on the ground. Days passed in the river palace. Neka was treated like a queen. She had maidens who were half women, half fish, and they sang sweet songs to her, yet her heart longed for her family. She thought of her mother's warm food and her father's voice. She felt trapped, like a bird in a cage. Back in Umueze, her parents searched for her. The whole village joined, but they found no trace. Some whispered that Neka ran away with a rich man. Others feared that spirits had taken her. Her mother wept every night, calling her name. "Neka, my child, where are you?" One night, Neka managed to escape. Obadiah had gone on a long journey under the sea, and she begged one of the fish maidens to help her. Out of pity, the maiden guided her to a secret tunnel. When Neka came out, she found herself back at the riverbank. She ran home barefoot, her hair dripping with water. When she reached home, her parents cried with joy. But her father noticed something strange. Neka's eyes now shone like the serpent's, and her skin was smoother than before. People in the village also whispered, "Something has changed about her. She is not the same Neka we knew." Strange things began to happen. Wherever Neka walked, snakes appeared from the bushes and followed her. At night, she dreamed of Obadiah calling her back. Sometimes she woke up with water on her bed. The villagers became afraid and started avoiding her. Children no longer played near her compound. Soon, young men who had wanted to marry her before disappeared. The first was Chike, a brave hunter. He entered the forest to check his traps but never returned. Later, his body was found by the river, with strange bite marks on his neck. The elders began to suspect Neka. The second was Emeka, a rich trader. He boasted he would win Neka's heart. One evening, he visited her with gifts. By morning, his canoe was found floating on the river with no one inside. The villagers grew angry. They said, "Neka is cursed. She has brought death among us." Her father defended her, but even he feared what was happening. "My daughter, tell me the truth," Obioma begged. With tears, Neka told him everything about the serpent, the palace, and her forced marriage. Her father was shocked. "You should have told us earlier," he said. "Now, the whole village is in danger." The elders called for a meeting. "We must do something before more people die," they said. Some wanted Neka to be banished. Others said she should return to the serpent to save the village. Neka cried, "I don't want to go back. I want to live with my family." That night, Obadiah appeared in Neka's dream. His voice thundered, "Why did you leave me? You are mine forever. If you do not return willingly, I will bring destruction to your village." Nneka woke up screaming. Her mother held her, trembling with fear. The next morning, the river overflowed its banks. Farmlands flooded and fish covered the roads. The villagers panicked. "It is the Serpent Bride! She has angered the water spirit," they cried. The elders rushed to Obioma's house. "Your daughter must return to the river or we are finished." Nneka's father refused. "I will not sacrifice my child," he shouted. But that evening, lightning struck their compound. A huge python appeared, coiling around their fence. Everyone screamed and ran. Nneka fell on her knees, praying for mercy. She knew Obadiah would never stop until he had her back. The python slithered around Nneka's compound, its tongue flicking in and out like fire. The villagers gathered from a distance, too afraid to come closer. Some shouted, "Throw her back into the river! That is the only way to stop this curse." Nneka held her mother's hand tightly, shaking with fear. That night, Obioma called a secret family meeting. "We cannot let them harm Nneka," he said. "But if this serpent lord continues, the whole village may perish." Nneka's mother wept. "What have we done to deserve this? My daughter only wanted to fetch water." Silence filled the room. They knew the serpent would not stop. In her sleep, Nneka saw Obadiah again. This time he stood over her, his eyes burning. "You belong to me and me alone. Do not resist me, or your people will pay with blood." When she tried to answer, a snake slithered out of her mouth in the dream. She woke up screaming, sweating all over. The elders decided to consult a powerful Dibia, native doctor from a distant village. His name was Okonkwo the Seer. He was feared for his knowledge of the unseen world. When he arrived, he looked at Nneka and shook his head. "This is not an ordinary case. She has been marked as a bride of the river. Breaking such a covenant will not be easy." The villagers gathered to hear the Dibia's words. He threw cowries on the ground and chanted incantations. Then he said, "The Serpent Lord is too powerful. If Nneka refuses him, he will drown this entire village. The only solution is sacrifice. Either she returns willingly to him, or another soul must take her place." Murmurs filled the air. Everyone looked at Nneka. Nneka's father jumped to his feet. "Never! I will not allow my daughter to be taken again. She has suffered enough." But the Dibia only sighed. "You do not understand. Spirits do not forgive. They only collect what belongs to them." The villagers became restless. Some whispered that they must tie Nneka and throw her into the river, but Nneka herself stood up. Tears filled her eyes as she looked at her parents. "Papa, Mama, I cannot watch the whole village suffer because of me. If Obadiah wants me, then I will go. At least you all will live." Her mother cried loudly and held her. "No, my child, don't say that. You will not die." The next morning, the village square was full. Drums beat slowly, and the air was heavy with fear. Nneka was brought forward, dressed in white cloth like a bride. Women wailed as they watched her walk. Snakes crawled out from the forest, circling the square as if guiding her path. Everyone knew Obadiah was near. Suddenly, the ground shook. The river swelled and burst its banks, flooding the paths. From the water, Obadiah emerged, half man, half serpent. His golden scales glittered in the sun. The villagers fell to the ground, covering their faces. His voice echoed, "Nneka, you are mine. Come to me, and I will spare them." Nneka stepped forward, her legs trembling. But just as she reached the river, the Dibia Okonkwo threw a charm wrapped in red cloth at Obadiah. There was a loud explosion, and the serpent roared in anger. "Foolish mortal, do you dare challenge me?" Lightning struck, and the charm burned to ashes instantly. The Dibia staggered back, blood dripping from his nose. Chaos erupted. The villagers screamed and scattered. Snakes chased them, biting anyone in their way. The river rose higher, swallowing huts near the bank. Nneka stood frozen. Obadiah stretched out his hand. "Come, my bride, or I will destroy them all." She looked at her parents crying in the distance and knew she had to make a choice. With a deep breath, Nneka shouted, "If you truly love me, you will let my people go. I will come with you, but promise me no more blood." Obadiah paused, his eyes softening for a moment, but then he laughed coldly. "Love? I do not love. I own, and you belong to me." As Obadiah dragged her into the water, Nneka suddenly remembered the words of the fish maiden who once helped her escape. Only a heart stronger than fear can break the bond. She realized she had one last chance. She grabbed a sharp stone hidden under her cloth and stabbed her own palm, letting the blood drip into the river.
The water boiled, Obidia screamed. "What have you done?" Neka's blood spread like fire through the water. The sky darkened and thunder roared. "Your blood is your power," Obidia growled. "You have broken the covenant." He thrashed violently, his body turning from gold to black. The villagers watched in awe as the river churned like a storm. Obidia's form twisted, changing from man to serpent and then to smoke. He howled, "This is not the end, Neka. I will return." With that, he vanished into the depths of the river. The snakes that filled the square slithered back into the forest and disappeared. The flood slowly began to withdraw. The villagers stood up, trembling. They looked at Neka, who was weak and bleeding, but still alive. Her mother rushed to hold her. "My child, you are safe." But Neka could not smile. She knew Obidia was not truly gone. His words echoed in her mind, "I will return." In the days that followed, peace slowly returned to Umueze. Farmlands dried and people rebuilt their homes. But many still feared Neka. Some avoided her, whispering, "She is the Serpent Bride." Trouble may come again. Neka stayed mostly indoors, ashamed of the stairs, yet grateful to be with her family. One evening, the dibia visited her. "You were brave," he said, "but do not think it is over. Spirits are patient. They can wait for years before they strike again. Guard your heart, for the Serpent Lord will never stop desiring you." Neka nodded silently, knowing he spoke the truth. Time passed, and Neka became stronger. She no longer feared the river. Sometimes she walked to the bank and stared at the water, daring it to rise. The villagers watched her from afar, whispering, but none dared approach her. She was no longer just a village girl. She was a woman who had faced the spirit world and survived. But every night, when she lay down to sleep, she heard whispers in her dreams. Sometimes it was the soft voice of the fish maiden, warning her. Other times, it was Obidia himself, promising to return for her. She lived with both fear and courage, knowing her story was not yet over. And so Neka became a legend in Umueze, the girl who married the serpent and broke his power with her blood. Children grew up hearing the tale, warned never to go near the river at night. Some called her cursed, others called her brave. But in her heart, Neka knew one truth. Once chosen by the spirits, one is never truly free.
Thank you so much for listening to today's enchanting story. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and subscribe for more magical tales that spark your imagination. Every story is a door to a new adventure, and I'm so glad you walked through it with me today. Stay curious, stay kind, and keep dreaming big. Until next time, keep the magic alive in your heart. I'll see you again soon for another wonderful story. Bye for now.